I am the famous American, and I have unpopular views compared to often Europe, specifically Spain. So let's check out, speaking of Spain, I made a video called When Your Own Ethnic Background is the Reason That You Have Certain Facial Features. Our great friend, Silent Bob, and let me just say this. I've had this channel for a couple of years. He watches every single video and comments on every single one. He is very committed to my channel. So many of my videos, like this one, are because he left a comment. Here's what he says, quote, "Ethnicity has nothing to do with DNA or facial traits. I know this is a lost battle in the United States, but anyway, I just wanted to say it once more," end quote. And somebody gave that a thumbs up. So apparently there is some value and truth in that me, as the American, I cannot comprehend. But while I do not have the highest IQ, I do have a very high EQ, emotional intelligence. And because of that, I can walk around not thinking, well, I must be right all the time. Instead, I think, I must be wrong at least half the time. Surely there's something new I can learn today. So that's why I'm making this video. I want an outsider's perspective, especially outside of the United States. Because it is true, in my mind, this is how it works. In my mind, and read the comment again, in my mind, ethnicity absolutely has something to do with DNA, and ethnicity absolutely has to do with facial traits. Like, that's so obvious to me. But apparently this isn't true, especially the part I really struggle with. Ethnicity has nothing to do with facial traits. That's hard for me, because very clearly I can think about certain facial traits that go back to certain ethnicity. We've even talked before about like the Roman nose or whatever it is. You're more likely to have a certain nose shape. Let's just, even if we just talked about noses, you're more likely to have a certain nose shape based on what part of the world you came from, as far as where most of your gene pool comes from, if it's largely from one place. I don't see how we can deny that certain noses are more exclusive to certain ethnic backgrounds. You know, and it's funny because people regularly talk about my lips. They have Semitic lips. I have these Middle Eastern Jewish lips, and maybe there's some truth in that. Like, and I understand, like, for example, if you're Asian, and we all expect a certain eye shape if you're Asian. By the way, I'm part Native American, so via Mexico, so there's a certain even shape that I have in my eyes. But I know in my mind that every person in Japan doesn't have the same type of shape eyes as we're imagining that they have right now, or whoever the Japanese person you're thinking of right now. I understand there are exceptions to that, but in general, there are very predictable traits based on your ethnic background. To me, that's very obvious. But again, we're assuming in this video that I'm wrong, and that somehow, and let me quote it again to make sure I got this right. Let's just assume truly that ethnicity has nothing to do with DNA or facial traits, that your ethnic background cannot largely predict what kind of nose you will have, or what kind of lips you will have, what kind of eyes you will have, or even what kind of hair you have. I mean, it's very obvious to me that, I don't know, like when I think of people from the Middle East, for example, I think of people who are going to have like wavier, thicker hair. When I think of people who are Asian, I think of super straight hair, you know? So you can tell that I'm really confused by this, but we would expect nothing else of the famous American. Enlighten me. We already know that my IQ is not high. My IQ is, but my IQ is so low I can't even say it right. My EQ, emotional intelligence, is high. My IQ is not. It's your role. It is your responsibility. It is your identity to raise my IQ by giving me a perspective that I couldn't understand, as I remain right now in this moment in real time in my timeline, my Avengers timeline, where in my mind I still think, yep, I know what Asian people's eyes look like. Yep, I know what a guy from Israel, I know what his nose is more likely to look like than a guy from Ireland. Yep, it's very clear. I'm picturing it right now, but I'm being told that that's not reality. Maybe I'm just inside the matrix right now. Your comment has a place. That place is right here. And maybe you'll be the reason I'll make my next video.